news, and sometimes the news finds you.
All stations can keep up. At Adaba FM, we'll not only give you news at the speed of nanosecond, but we'll also break it down with up-to-date analysis, informed opinions, and distinct professionalism. That's why you love us. Adaba 88.9 FM, your go-to station.
It's midday. Good afternoon. I'm Adeola Adekunle with Global News. In the news, Rwanda and DRC in diplomatic row over refugees. Brazil condemns attack on government buildings by opposition supporters. Myanmar government jails over 100 people for attempt to leave the country.
This is the news.
President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged to serve God and Nigerians until the expiration of his tenure on May the 29th. Buhari made the promise at a state banquet on Monday night, organized in his honor in Damaturu, the Yobe state capital. He expressed delight that normalcy has returned to affected states in northeast Nigeria. The president noted that he had fulfilled the commitment made to Nigerians in his inaugural address to tackle Boko Haram terrorists and stabilize the country. Buhari advised Nigerians to remain patriotic. Rwanda says it can no longer offer refuge to people fleeing violence in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, stoking already high tensions between the Central African neighbors. Persistent fighting in the east of the mineral-rich DRC pits federal troops against rebels from the M23 group, which has captured swaths of territory. The DRC, along with the United States and several European countries, have repeatedly accused Rwanda of backing the Tutsi-led rebels from M23, although Kigali denies the charge. On Monday, President Paul Kagame told the upper house of parliament in the capital Kigali that the country cannot continue to host refugees from DRC, saying it is not Rwanda's problem. Saudi Arabia authorities say Islam's annual Hajj pilgrimage will return to pre-pandemic level this year after restrictions saw the annual religious commemoration curtailed over coronavirus concerns. The Hajj required of all able-bodied Muslims once in their life represents one of the world's largest gatherings of people. Before the pandemic, the pilgrimage drew millions each year to Islam's holiest city, Mecca, in Saudi Arabia, home to the cube-shaped Kaaba that observant Muslims pray towards 5 times a day. Chinese embassy says it has stopped issuing short-term visas to South Koreans. This is after Seoul imposed travel restrictions on travelers from China amid concerns about the outbreak of COVID-19 in the country. It is Beijing's first retaliatory move against countries that have introduced new measures on arrivals from China, which suddenly abandoned its strict zero-COVID policy in December, resulting in the virus spreading rapidly. The announcement comes a day after Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang expressed concern about the restrictions in a telephone call with his South Korean counterpart, Park Jin. South Korea's Park told Qin that the new border restrictions were based on science and objective. South Korea is among the countries, including Australia, France, and the United States, that have introduced measures targeting travelers from China amid a surge in COVID cases and concerns about a lack of transparency in official data, including the emergence of new variants. The leaders of Brazil's three branches of government have issued a joint statement condemning the storming of government buildings by supporters of former far-right President Jair Bolsonaro. In a statement, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva joined the heads of the Supreme Court and the two houses of Congress to reject the acts of political violence that shook the capital, Brasilia. The leaders called for calm in defense of peace and democracy and said they reject the terrorist acts and coup-mongering vandalism. Thousands of Bolsonaro supporters who refused to accept the ex-army captain's electoral defeat stormed Congress, the Supreme Court, and the presidential palace, with some calling for military intervention to restore Bolsonaro to power or remove Lula from office. You're on to Global News from Adaba 88.9 FM Akure, transmitting from Ilaramokin. After the break, Myanmar jails over 100 people for attempting to leave the country. We'll be right back.
The news on Adaba 88.9 FM.
Glad to have you back for news update and live streaming. Visit our website www.adaba889.fm or download Adaba FM app on Google Play Store. You can be part of us on our social media platforms www.facebook.com/AdabaFM88.9 on Facebook, at Adaba889FM on Instagram, and Adaba FM TV on YouTube. To provide us information, you can reach us via email newsroom@adaba889.fm. And to the rest of the bulletin. Classified documents from Joe Biden's time as vice president were discovered in November by the U.S. president's personal lawyers at a Washington think tank. This is disclosed by a White House lawyer. Nearly 10 documents were found at Biden's office at the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement on Monday. The lawyer added that U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland had asked the U.S. Attorney in Chicago to review the classified documents, which were handed over to the National Archives. In a statement, the special counsel to the president, Richard Sauber, says the classified material was identified by personal lawyers for Biden on November the 2nd, days before the midterm elections. The Penn Biden Center is named for Biden, who periodically used the office space from mid-2017 until the start of his 2020 presidential campaign. Now, Russia stepped up a powerful assault on Soldier in the Donbas region. The assault has forced Ukrainian troops to repel waves of attacks by Wagner Group units. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said no walls are left standing in Soldier. He, however, said both the city and the nearby Bakhmut are holding on despite widespread destruction. Myanmar has jailed 112 people, including 12 children, from the minority Rohingya after they were caught attempting to leave the country. The court in Bogali in the southern Ayeyawadi region of Myanmar sentenced the group on January the 6th. The group was arrested in December after they were discovered on a motorboat without any official documents. Report says the 12 children, 5 were under the age of 13 and sentenced to 2 years, and the older children to 3 years. They were transferred to a youth training school on Monday. The statement adds that the adults were all jailed for 5 years. And sport, Arsenal have placed a €34 million price tag on Folari Balogun following interest for his service from Syria clubs. Balogun impressed last season during a loan spell with Championship side Middlesbrough and has continued its excellent showings this term at Ligue 1 outfit Reims. He has scored 10 goals in the French top flight and joined third in the scorers chart, just 3 behind Kylian Mbappe, who is topping. Balogun has made 10 appearances for Arsenal senior team in his career and scored 2 goals. And to end global news, a recap of our top stories. We told you that there is tension between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, as Rwanda says it can no longer accommodate refugees from DR Congo. The leaders of Brazil's three branches of government have issued a joint statement condemning the storming of government buildings by supporters of former far-right President Jair Bolsonaro. And we also told you that Myanmar has jailed 112 people, including 12 children, from the minority Rohingya after they were caught attempting to leave the country. That's Global News. It was edited by Sunday Ajiboye. Adeola Adekunle. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon.